G'day, you plastic crack addicts. Shark Eyes here, back once again. And today we're going to be looking at the G.I. Joe Classified series, Cobra Night Creeper. Or as I like to call him, Night Creeper, Night Creeper. He's a merc for money. Anyway, that's enough BGs that you're going to get out of me today. So, let's rip into it. So you got to look at the box here, figure in the box, blah, 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 accessories, etc., etc. Bit of art on the side, which we've all no doubt seen. Close-up look of the extra head and him holding the shuriken. And a nice piece of art with someone in the background there, which is very nice. And we're going to have a look at these next. All right, so from left to right, you've got this skull here, and that is Covert Ops. He is a level 2. The next one over is Bladed Weapons. He is a level 2 in that. The next one over there is Ninjutsu. He's a level 4, so he gets top marks for that. And the next one over is one we haven't seen that often. That's Night Combat, and he's a level 2 in that. So he's got a pretty spread sort of section of roles and skills there. So, with all that done, let's crack this bad boy open. Boom. One Night Creeper out of the pack. So, let's have a closer look at him. We'll start with the face sculpt up here. And you'll see he's got the hood attached to the head. I believe that is all one piece, but we'll check that out shortly. Got the shoulder pauldrons here. Let's see how good his range of movement is with those. Yeah, he can get not too high up there. Something I don't want to force. So that's looks like it on that front. Because if you look in there, they are attached pretty firmly. And I don't know how well that will resist any stress fractures. You got the chest plate, which is pretty true to the original figure. Got some camo print on the forearms, there and there. You've got this new part. The original figure and the modern figure didn't have this, and I'll explain what those are for shortly. Nice look at the camo. Oh, actually, there is a belt buckle. I don't think it's anything too spectacular. There's a closer look at it. Camo's nice. It's all the way around. Shin guards here. Not sure if they're new or not. I feel like they might be, unless they've been used on one of the other ninjas. I don't have the Cobra ninjas. I do have the hand ninja, but I don't have it out of the packet. Excuse me, so I can't make a comparison. But they could have been used on someone else. Like I said in my last video, I'm no expert on the figure parts, and I don't ever desire to be. Let's see how he stands in his out of the packet mode. There's a little bit of trickiness there, but with some maneuvering of himself, he should stand a bit better. Yep. The first thing I do notice about this figure, especially after reviewing Doc, is this feels cheaper in some respects. I'm just going to grab Doc here as a comparison. It just feels like a better constructed figure in some regards. I don't know why. It just is. Maybe it's the finish on the outfit. It's also probably a bit heavier because of all the additional vest and whatnot. I don't know. It just feels a bit cheap, dare I say it. But anyway, that's the figure. There's not much else to it. Let's see what it's like in the leg articulation department. Oh, mate. Doing the splits, no problems. Old dog sure didn't have that same kind of ability. Range of movement in the arms. It's not bad. It's not great for a ninja figure. In terms of ab crunch, there is none really. Somewhat inhibited by the chest plates, but yeah, he can look that's far down as he can look, and he can't look up. He's only looking straight ahead. But yeah, the side to side isn't a problem. That's inhibited. Actually, I tell a lie. That's a little bit inhibited by the strap on the chest plate. Knees, bit tight. Yeah, that one especially. He'll definitely need a warm water bath on that front. The ankle rockers are not a problem. Feet. So yeah, he just feels a bit rigid coming out of the packet, which happens sometimes, of course. But let's crack on and have a look at him and all of the accessories. Alright, I'm going to start with the hands, the extra set. This is the one holding the shuriken, which is pretty nice. Make for some good photography. And that's the karate chop hand. I do like, how he's got this part of the, I think it's like a clawed gauntlet in there. Yeah, it is. It's like one of those clawed gauntlets that you could either like scale a wall with or slice someone's face open. So yeah, that's those. Now there is a name for these. Off the top of my head, I cannot remember it, and I'm doing a review, so I don't have Google at my disposal, but these are the daggers that come, the throwing daggers that come with him, and I'm sure someone with a knowledge in martial arts weaponry would be able to let me know in the comments what they are called, because I don't want to botch it up and then have one of you try and correct me. It's right on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember it. So yeah, these are nice enough. I feel like we may have seen these before. I could be wrong. I feel like I've seen them before. And we're just going to throw those in here. Well, not throw them, but you know what I mean. Place them in there. Go that way, that one. This is a nice little assembly. It is a bit loose around his waist. It's my only criticism of it, but it's pretty cool, in terms of being able to draw from the hip, so to speak, and fling them out. So that's where they go. Next up, we'll take a look at one of his swords. And this is really nice. Definitely don't recall seeing this with any other set, and it obviously stays true to the original figure. I don't have the original figure. I have the modern one. I did have the original as a kid, but the modern one comes with the curved sword, but we'll have a look at that again in a second. But it's really nice. The next one up is the one I just mentioned, which is kind of the wavy sword. It's got a nice finish on the blade and the handle. Okay, what's this called here? Things are escaping my mind tonight. You'll have to excuse me. I'm recording this after a long day at work. Hilt. The hilt. That's what it's called, I think. Again, feel free to correct me in the comments. And while you're here, I do welcome all commentary. Good, bad, positive, negative. And if you're new to the channel and you're just coming across this review for the first time, welcome and thank you for checking it out. And if you like what you see, feel free to hit that button. You know the one. And I'm talking about the subscribe button as well as the like button. And yeah, feel free to share the video around. I'm in a lot of the collector groups, and you'll see my name, Adam Howes. So when I post these reviews, so feel free to say hi. Anyway, so back to the swords. So the modern one is different. It's more of a curvy, sort of wavy blade, and this one's got more of a jagged sort of style. And I guess, you know, in a way, they've kind of, like, if we compare the three, they all sort of have their own unique sort of shape, but I definitely dig this one the most. So we're going to take those and pop those to the side for a second. And we'll have a look at the additional head, which of course is a nod to the Night Creeper 2, which is a figure that is neon pink and blue. And I want to shout out my mate Bevan Studd, who has collected that figure, the vintage figure, and has quite several of them. And he is a big fan of Night Creepers, and he'll no doubt be watching this, I dare say. So, get a nice look at it. I like it, I actually dig it. I appreciate the fact they added this in. It's a different look. It's not something that I would have expected them to do. Oh yeah, that looks cool, man. I really like that. Yeah, it just gives it such a different look, eh? And I think this is one piece, this head. I don't feel like that's going to come out. You could possibly try, but I'm pretty sure it's glued in, and I'm not prepared to try and force it out. But yeah, that is the additional Night Creeper head on the body. Very nice. So we're going to do the backpack, which is a new piece of tooling. And if you saw Storm Shadow reveal the other day, you will notice that this is the same backpack that you're going to get with that release. So it's quite nice. It's got the rope attachment here. What appears to be some sort of bedroll. I guess when the Night Creepers are sleeping on top of roofs, taking the night off. And you got a rack of arrows through here as well. And they're obviously sculpted on. And the side holsters here. Holsters, sheaths, I guess, or attachment points. They're not really sheaths either for the swords. So we'll go ahead and lob one of those in there. It should just pop in like so. Maybe just it's easier to clip it in. Yeah, looks like it's going to stay in better. Just clipped in like that. This one might slide in. Yeah, that's a better example. I feel like that's too high up. Let's go a bit lower. That should be even, give or take. Oh, there we go. So yeah, looks pretty good. And next up is an arrow for the crossbow, or bolt. Crossbow bolt, I should say. There you go, I got that one right, folks. It's a bolt. There you go, not much else to it than that. And that comes to his primary weapon, his crossbow, which, of course, is synonymous with in the original figure and in the modern release. It's the modern release on the right. And yeah, you can see that obviously with this one they put like a silver deco through it, which I do prefer than the classified one. And there's no handle on this one, unlike there. And you've got the bolt underneath here. Tell me which one you reckon you like better. I'm pretty sure this is new. So let's see how well the arrow attaches. I dare say that's just gonna slide in here and line it up there. It is a bit loose. How's everyone's day been? Like I mentioned earlier, I've been at work. It's quite a long day, but it was a productive one. There you go. It's staying in there, not coming out, which is cool. So let's try the crossbow attachment to the backpack. Now, handle out, this part should slide in here. And it should just sit on there. Okay. Maybe not. Interesting. That does not want to stay on there. That's the point where it's supposed to attach. All right. See here and here. And this part here is supposed to slide in. And as you can see, it's flush. All right. And you can't sit it higher because that's going to rock there, and you can't go lower because it doesn't want to sit there. If I clip it on like that, you just probably heard that. It stays on and falls off. So that is not ideal. I'm going to try one more time. I'm not going to spend all night here on this, but that does not want to go on. And you can't put it the other way either before anyone suggests that, because the handles are going to block it. So it's definitely this way. And I also know this because I checked Shooting the Galaxy's photos before I started the review. Yeah, no, that's not staying on. Like, okay. All right, well, that's that. All right, there he is with the crossbow in hand, and you'll notice the backpack is on. Now, applying this, it does sit quite flush, which is good, and it does appear to stay on well, which is also good. But it is a bit loose. Like, even when it's pushed flush against his back, it's on, but you touch that and it's probably going to eventually, like, it's just going to loosen off, but it is staying on. The swords, on the other hand, yeah, it's one of those things you really aren't going to want to fiddle ass around with it once you've got it on. But he can hold the weapon extremely well. Both handles. And it does tuck into his arm quite nicely as well. This keeps riding up the belt with the daggers. And as you can see, me just fiddling with that just spun around. Because there is also a bit of obstruction by these, because that's, look at, you can see it. It's knocking the sword. Look at that. If I spin that around, they are sort of in the way a little bit. You've really got to, I guess, lodge it between the two. And that will stay there. Which is probably fine when you're just posing him standing. But, you know, if you're trying to do some kind of intricate pose, it might be a bit of a pain in the neck. I'm just going to try and get him to... There. All right, so let's whip the other hands onto him and have a look at that. So there you go, he's about to nail someone with the throwing star, which looks pretty cool when you've got him in that position. I do like it. Obviously, a lot of people would prefer individual throwing stars that they can hold, but you know, they're good in theory, I think, but not necessarily in execution, at least with this for photography purposes, or you know, in a dio it looks pretty good. I'll just give you a close up of that. What do the 5 fingers say to the face? Slap! Now, if you're familiar with the Chappelle Show, you will definitely get that reference. So yeah, that's the karate chop hand. I guess you could also use it to sort of indicate him giving a signal to one of his fellow clansmen. Yeah, it's good. It's a nice piece, but it's probably not my preferred option. Yeah, this sword's awesome though. I do love the sword. I guess, you know, we can do something like this as well. Like he's cleaning it or something. There you go. Not that he's got anything to polish it with, but gotta look after your tools, don't you? Alright, so let's pop the other sword on. There we go. Got the blades ready to swing on fools like Shinobi. He looks good with the swords, the dual swords. You'd definitely be able to get him into some dynamic fighting poses with these. Might be a bit hard for me to do a running pose just because he's probably requires a bath first. I might be able to get it. Let's see. We'll see how well the counterbalance pans out. That back leg's a bit troublesome. Just have a quick look at him with the daggers in hand. Really would like to try and get him into a better throwing position, but the pauldrons not really allowing for that much. Like if I try to push the arm up, they are flexible, but look at that hinge. I did show it earlier, but look at that. That's not something you want to force, I don't think. So I'm just not going to mess with it. You can even see like it's sort of warped a little bit out, just a touch. But yeah, it's not ideal. But that's him with everything. You've seen it all. So I'll do a comparison now. As I mentioned earlier, I don't have any of the Cobra Ninjas, so you're going to have to look at him with Jinx and Arctic Storm Shadow here. I did have a little bit of problems getting him to stand just in that pose. I think it's due to the weight of the backpack, and we got there in the end, but it took me a couple of attempts, whereas the other two figures just stood instantly. And one thing I really loved about Jinx when I reviewed her recently was her articulation and her ability to be put into some really cool martial arts poses. And it was very easy, like, to balance her even with the staff and whatnot. Now granted, she doesn't have as much kit as what he does, but for a ninja figure that is problematic. What I do love about this figure though is they did stay true to the original, and obviously, you know, gave us the additional head. And there you go, I didn't knock him, he just fell over then to further prove my point. You know, the aesthetic is great, but the inability for him to, you know, function properly in terms of standing in a easily balanced position and without accessories falling off, you know, that's disappointing. Because if you remember the original figure, or if you still have the original figure, those swords weren't coming out of that backpack. So why is it happening with this? And if I bring up the 4-inch modern figure as an example, and I'll just pop this back in here, by the way. All right. That's in, right? 3 clips. Boom, boom, boom. Not going anywhere. still attached. And, you know, he's got the harness here, like he does on the figure down there, but it's not preventing anything on the backpack. So if they couldn't do it at that scale, why can they do it on this scale? Now, as I mentioned before, adding these, maybe they should have been brought forward, or, you know, put into leg sheaths or something like that. That might have alleviated that. But that doesn't excuse this. And I'm going to show you again one last time that this thing is not staying on. At all. There is no reason why that should be happening. I don't even, like, if you look at that, it looks bent, right? Can you see that? I don't know if that's supposed to be like that, but maybe that's why. Maybe I've got a bodgy backpack. Can you see that there? I don't know. You know, even if I try something different and do it off center, it's not going to work. This thing keeps spinning around. Yeah, I give up. So that's the Night Creeper, folks. Truth be told, I wanted to love this figure, but I probably only just like it. The flaws in the backpack are kind of a bit of a disappointment and let it down a little bit. In a line that prides itself on the figures being able to hold all their accessories, if his primary weapon doesn't fit to the pack while he's using the other swords, well, that's not very kosher now, is it? Pros of the figure, he looks great. He comes with a dynamic amount of kit. The extra hands are a nice touch. And obviously the aesthetic being true to the original. Is he easily posable? Yes and no. You'll see from some of the poses and the photos that I was able to get, you know, him into some decent poses, but he's not the most flexible of ninjas. Anyway, that is all for today. I hope you enjoyed the review. If you did, once again, throw a like and subscribe to the channel, and look forward to the next review that I've got coming. Don't know what that is yet, but it's probably going to be something good. Anyway, have yourself a crackerjack day.